Hello, and welcome to another episode of Hot Mess Magic. Imagine sitting in a Total Wine parking lot with your kids in the back seat while your divorce lawyer tells you exactly how much it's going to cost you to lose everything you've worked for. The next thing you remember is waking up with bottles on your nightstand, eyes so swollen you could barely see. That was Courtni Clay's rock bottom, and instead of hiding it, she's exposing it here. How she went from screaming in her car to rebuilding her entire life from the inside out. Courtni, welcome.
Thank you so much. So happy to be here.
You're welcome. So let's go back to that morning where you woke up with bottles on your nightstand, your eyes so swollen shut. What was really happening in your life at that moment? Or let me rephrase that. What was really happening in your life leading up to that moment?
It was literally we were just going through the divorce phase. For those who haven't gone through it, you file for divorce and then you're in this whirlwind of going through the process. And for some it's quick, for some it takes a long time. I think we were a couple of months in, because by that time, I believe I already moved out. So we were already in separate places. We had sold our house. So we were just going through fleshing out, who gets what, the custody stuff, all those things. And so that day was kind of like the finalization of everything. And that's when it's like, all right, it's settled. Here's what you're going to have to do. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? And I just blanked out.
And do you remember those exact words that caused you to...
I was thinking, I've never had anyone take anything from me. I think the hardest part was, I grew up where normally it was the women who were struggling and they needed assistance and child support and all these things. And so for me growing up, I was like, okay, I want to make sure that I never, number one, do that to anyone, because me personally, I just don't believe anyone should have to take anything from anyone. Now, there are different circumstances, but
Yes.
For me in particular, even during my first divorce, I didn't want anything. I'm like, just help me pay for childcare. Just help me pay for things for him. I don't need you paying my rent. I don't need this. I just need help with him, with things that he actually needs. So if that's childcare, can you pay half? Things like that. But with this, it was like, no, I'm getting everything I can according to the state of Arizona. And I'm just not used to that. I was floored. And I think growing up where there was such a lack of money in my arena, I worked so hard to get certain things. And now it's like everything's up for grab. And I finally, because of an issue, it wasn't like it was my fault. So it was hard to accept.
Yeah, and you then begin living your life on autopilot, pretending that everything is fine.
Well, yeah, and so that's the thing. It's like I'm continuously living. I lived in it during the marriage, right? And then it's like to come out of it. Now I'm starting to speak my truth, a little bit more, because now I'm out of that situation. But now I'm coming to, okay, I got this roadblock now, because now I have to come to terms with I'm gonna have to pay this. Like I'm gonna mentally, it wasn't registering. Like, I have to give you this. Like, I'm losing everything because of stuff that you did in our marriage, and I'm filing divorce because I don't want my children just to have to go through these things, and this is what I get afterwards. So yeah, it was just numbness, anger, and bitterness.
It seems as if you almost felt as if you were being punished.
That's punished. Yeah. That's probably a good word to use.
Like, you're not the one who did anything wrong. You're the one who was doing what was right in your best interest and the best interest of your children. Yet you're the one who, quote unquote, seems like felt like you were getting punished.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I walked away with nothing, but yet I feel like I'm having to give everything and fight for I'm fighting for every dime. Like, can he really do this? And I'm like, well, in Arizona. And I'm just like, why am I here? Why am I in the state of Arizona?
Well, because every single state, it's funny because every single state has different divorce laws.
Yes. So my first divorce, I was in Virginia. So it's crazy because so these two marriages were both horrible in their own way, but in two different arenas. So for one, I didn't get anything. I got no support. I got nothing. And then this next one, like everything's being taken. So it's like I'm sitting here dealing with that too, because I'm like, what's wrong with me? How did I get two horrible situations on completely different sides of the house? Like, how
Mhm.
does that happen?
Well, yeah, because it does. It then starts playing with your mind and realizing, like, okay, do I keep going down this path? Well, like, what do I have to do?
Yeah. And the thing is, I thought that I was like, okay, I thought this second time around, like, all right, I chose different. Yeah. Well, I got different too in another bad way. So I'm just like, so at that point, it's like, damn, what's wrong with me? Like, what is wrong with me? How do I get both bad situations in completely different aspects, if that makes sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. But we also have to remember that there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah. And it took a long time for me to get to that point. But in that moment, it was, what is wrong with you? How could you let this happen a second time? How are you going through this again? And then again, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
So, what were the steps that you took, not only physically, but mentally and emotional, that actually helped you to rebuild, especially in those early days where you're
And this is a
still,
good question.
questioning everything?
No, that's a great question. So I think, and this is kind of part of my backstory, right? Like I feel like I was always the comeback queen. I was able to always come back. I was able to pivot, make a way out of no way, things like that. But this second divorce in particular, I mean, I look back on it now and I was miserable, but I'm so thankful for it because it made me realize that resilience has nothing to do with bouncing back to who you are. You know what I mean? And so that was the thing. I was always able to bounce back, but nothing was changing up here. I just saw a problem and I could pivot and turn.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
this divorce forced me to sit in my shit. It divorced. And so it made me realize like I have to learn how to change my mindset because things are always going to happen, but how I look at them, that is the game changer. And so I would say one of the probably biggest things were the mindset shifts and building my resilience. Because I always thought resilience was just bouncing back and pushing through and just smiling and just saying, it's okay. Everything's
Mm-hmm.
fine. No, that's not the case. I got to look at the situation, see it for what it is, and move forward. Adapt to the stressor, get over it quickly and efficiently, but move forward in a way that's positive and purposeful. So that for me, it was the mindset shifts. So I had this great friend and she called me one night and she was like, Courtney, you need to like look up manifestations and affirmations, check out Abraham Hicks. Like there's all these different things because I was
Mm-hmm.
just so down. Like I was so down in my mind and I just didn't know what to do. And she was like, just check these things out. And so I started to look into that. So in the Army, they needed a master resilience trainer, which basically is where I teach, where you would go to school to learn how to be more resilient and learn the skills, but then learn how to teach folks as well. So I volunteered for that because I was always interested in it. Every time I would see a person teach the course, I'm like, man, like one day I want to teach that. And this came literally at the perfect time. So mindset shifts, resiliency skills, that's really what helped me change everything and kind of made me who I am right now.
As you're giving the definition of resilience, like that's what most of us think of resiliency as, is that
Yeah.
being able to pivot, being able to bounce back, to handle anything that's thrown at you. Yet we also have to look at the role that we're playing in these events.
It's so much bigger than just bouncing. And then plus, I also hate the term bouncing back because I'm like, do you really want to bounce back to who you were? Like,
No,
do you
not
really
at
like
all.
exactly? I never use that term like bounce back. Like, I'm not going back. There is no going back. It's how are we moving forward? How are we rising into someone stronger, wiser, more purposeful?
Yeah, I like that because, yeah, we don't want to go backwards.
Exactly.
So, how did that personal rock bottom become the foundation? We've kind of touched on this,
Mhm.
become the foundation for the professional work that you do today. And what's the direct line between your collapse and your calling?
I feel like since a kid, I've always wanted to help in a way.
Hmm.
Like it started with, I want to be a pediatrician. I was like, I'm not going to school for that long. That's
Yeah.
crazy. But then
Hmm.
that turned into, I remember choosing like in college, thinking about like what I wanted to do. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I want to get into social work. And my dream was like to work for the city and social services. I'm so glad that did not work out. No
Hmm.
offense to anyone that does it, but I'm looking back, I'm just like, okay. But I always wanted to help someone, which is how I got into the HR arena. But I think so probably after going to school and becoming the master resilience trainer, I was like just in a spot where I'm like, I'm doing well in my career on the HR side, on the Army side. I'm an officer, I'm doing training. Like, this is great. I said, but I'm
Hmm.
not feeling there's something missing. Like I want to help and I want people to do better. And so I also love the gym. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a fitness trainer. Like I'm going to go and get my whatever it's called training thing. And it was literally one night at 11 o'clock. And I was like, people don't stick to it. I was like, a lot of people, and I've even helped people like work out. I'm like, I know, like no one sticks to it. I'm like, you know what? I got to attack the fucking mind.
Hmm.
I gotta get to the mind. Everything is so that sent me on my journey of all right, I want to become a certified life and health coach. And that kind of sparked this whole journey down this path.
That's awesome. Oh, because yes, as kids, so many of us, yeah, we want to help, we want to make that difference.
Yeah.
And the fact that you've fulfilled that now and you are making that difference is amazing. And you call yourself, this master resilience coach. But
Yeah.
what does resilience actually look like in the practice for the women you work with? And what's one tool or truth you give them that came directly from your own survival?
It's a lot. So in my program, we actually have topics every week that go back to building your resiliency skills, but also navigating what you want to create in your world and what are your goals as well. For example, one topic for the week may talk about the negative bias. Another week may be about limiting beliefs. Another week may be about confidence. So each week is a different skill that I'm pouring into them, and then I'm seeing how that affects their life. If they use it now, if they don't use it now, and then we give exercises as well. So it really all goes back to, and also putting things in perspective.
Hmm.
Like a lot of it, I think one of the biggest things was reframing our thoughts, putting things in perspective, hunting the good stuff, things like that.
Okay. And what would you say would be the biggest limiting beliefs that you have seen as a trend within women?
People really don't think they're good and they're scared. And then one of the other biggest things that I come across, which I was like, you know what? I think it's too. Not that they're scared of being successful. They're more so scared of having to show up. Like once they
Yeah.
get this thing that they want so bad, it's like, wait a minute. When I get this, like, how do I have to show up? And then can
Hmm.
I be that person? Can I be this consistent person to maintain this success? Like that's probably one of the biggest things I've seen. And then I realized, like, you know what? This is one of my things too. Like everything I do, I'm like, I got to give more, and some people are scared of that. It's scary.
Well, absolutely. It's scary because your nervous system also can only hold so much. So it's
Yeah.
like that fear comes in when you've reached your plateau level of your nervous system. And it's just taking that moment, taking that breath and going, I let go.
Yeah.
Like letting go of the parts of you that no longer serve you. Because that's
Yeah.
one of the things that we do. We cling and we cling on to them. So I
Yeah.
also kind of look at your divorce in having to like get let go of
Yeah.
everything as like it freed you to be able to step into this next version of self.
Yeah. Yeah. And I had to. I had to go from looking at it as, why is this happening to me? Because that
Mhm.
was kind of my thought, like this is all happening to me. I'm I'm a failure at marriage. I can't keep a man. I'm gonna be broke, all these
Yeah,
things,
all the things.
all the things. And I had to intentionally, because it's not easy, but I had to intentionally almost mind fuck myself. Like that's what I
Yeah.
would call it. Like I really going through these thoughts. I had to be as audacious as my mind was to me. Like I had to pull out shit like, you're never going to get married again. Yes, yes, I will. Things are always working out for me. I'm becoming a bigger and stronger person. I'm learning from my setbacks. I have to come up with these
Yeah.
crazy mantras that combat that one statement, but it has to be intentional. And I was very intentional about reframing every thought that came in my head.
Well, it's being your own cheerleader.
My own cheerleader, my own therapist, my own
Yeah.
coach, like all those nights when I had no one there to pour into me, I had to pour into myself. That was a lot of journaling as well. I didn't journal before. I didn't meditate before. So all these things to really learn how to talk to myself.
Because it's the self-talk when we're in these low
Mhm.
moments in life that is so vital. Because we
Yeah.
have that tendency to sit there and say, like, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving,
Yeah.
of course this is gonna keep happening to me. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think too, I also had to look at, even like as I kind of started on my journey of doing like the coaching and the speaking, all these things, I had to learn how to break stuff down. Like you have this big goal and this big picture. And this is what a lot of my clients go through as well. They want to do all these huge things and now they're overwhelmed and they're burnt out. And it's like, okay,
guilty,
and I'm like,
guilty.
right. No, and it's even with me too. And it's like I had to take a step back and say, all right, what would Coach Court say to Court right now? Like
Yeah.
it's like break it down, write out the steps, put it on your calendar, write it down in a journal, like whatever. For me, writing it down. Like if I take the time to write down what I need to do the next day and have like a checklist, that takes so much stress, pressure, and anxiety off of me. And I was like, why didn't I realize this a long time ago? And when I give this task to my clients, it's like, okay, this may not be for you, but what would work for you? Is it going to be an alarm on your phone? Is it going to be writing it down? Is it going to be putting it on a whiteboard in your room? Like, what is it for you? Because this isn't a one size, fits all.
Yeah.
All we can do is see kind of what works best. But once you know what it is, then you got to do it. But then you got to break everything down, write it down. And then it's like, it helps you get it done. And those small steps, as I like to say, those small hinges, they swing big doors.
Absolutely. And it's also the fact of taking it from your mind to
Mhm.
paper, like the physical act of writing it. And I've even said to people, speak it as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
when it comes to that to-do list, one of the other things that I like to do is only have like 4, 5 things on that to-do list. So like I will take a to-do list because I'm like yourself, I need that list.
Yeah.
But I will take that to-do list and I will write out that long 30 some odd item, plus list like we all do. But when we look at that list, it overwhelms the fuck out of us.
Absolutely. And so what I tell people when their mind is racing with a lot of things, I also say, write them down. Now I want you to either, I have two that I kind of play around with. It's either circle the ones that need to get done within 24 hours, right? And then kind of base it off that. Or I do like a number them from 1 to 10, what is more important. And those top 3, those are what you kind of focus on. But it's getting really clear on what needs to be done and prioritizing the things that have to be done right now or within 24 hours. People have all these things that's like, does it need to be done today? And they're like, well, let's put that aside. What needs to be done today? Like what is the focus? Let's do one day at a time and let's accomplish it. Let's check it off, cross it off our list, take that breather, feel good about it. And then go through and worry about everything else the next day.
Yeah. because tomorrow's going to come.
It's going to come.
You know, like,
You don't have to do everything today. Like,
yeah,
you can breathe. I always say, like, so at my job, one of my things is like, is anyone going to die? No. So why are you making this big thing so big? It's no one's going to die.
exactly. That email that you received at 6:00 at night can wait until tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of that, I'm not even checking my emails. Like when I close my laptop, I'm done. I think a lot of people have, issues with that too. Is like they have to stay on. It's like, why? Like
Exactly.
why do you feel then like why? And it's like, what is this doing for you? And it's like you break it down, it's like it's not really accomplishing anything. Isn't there something else more purposeful that you could be doing that you want to do that would make you happy?
Mhm.
What makes you happy at the end of the day? Like, let's go do that, So just finding the things that bring you that joy and that purpose. 'Cause for a lot of people, it's their job. Like their job brings them that. But it's like, what else is out there?
Yes. What else is out there? And that's an activity that I do with people
Yeah.
where I have them write out a list of everything that brings them joy except family, friends, pets, and work.
I like that. Yeah.
Write it all out. Then go
Yeah.
back through that list and number it from 1 to 10. 1 being this brings me joy, but if I had it every single day, it would kill the joy. To 10 being I need this daily. Go through. And then your 8s and higher, make sure those happen within your week.
I love that. I love that.
And if you're struggling, like not knowing where to go, even job-wise, career-wise, like you're wanting to make that pivot, your 8s and aboves, look at those.
Yeah.
Your 8s and your 8 to 5, like at some point within the month. Anything below a 5, like at some point within the year.
Yeah.
Like, but this way you're, doing the things that bring you joy throughout your day, your week, your month, your year.
Yeah. And insert it.
Insert it because it's also that joy. Like when we're talking about resilience here as well. And it's like when we're in that state of joy, we're in that higher vibrational state, we're not going to have to be as resilient because we're just going to flow. We're just in a different energy state. We're in a higher vibration and things are just going to flow easier.
But the thing is, resilient isn't just for the bad. Like it is a way. It is a way of life. Because even with hunting the good stuff purposely, like that is a skill. Hunting the good stuff is when you are intentionally seeking the good, or you are resonating on the good things that happened. Because when you do things like that increases your optimism. It helps you to show gratitude more often, and it counteracts the negative bias. So resilience is an ongoing thing. It's not only when things are bad. It is the skills you practice every day just to really maintain maintain the psychological well-being overall.
Okay, that makes sense, and that leads me right into the next question as to what's the hardest truth about resilience that nobody wants to hear, but everybody needs to do?
Hardest truth about resilience that everyone, you need to be intentional. It's not a magic pill. It's not just, okay, I'm going to hunt the good stuff and be fine. Like you really have to be intentional. You have to be self-aware. You have to self-regulate. It's so many things that you have to do internally to be consistent, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. And you bring up a keyword of consistent. Like we as a society struggle sometimes with being consistent with things and committing to things, especially when we know that they're going to help us.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very true. I'm like, you're right. I'm not thinking, I'm like, it's hard. It is.
Because we know a workout's going to help us, but how many people stay past January 1st consistent with their, the workout? We know that eating healthy is, going to keep us, healthy, but How many people stay consistent with, having less sugar or less
Yeah.
caffeine?
And I think what helps a lot of those things, and what I kind of start my clients off with, is we build anchors. So we not only get to understanding the why behind the why, because that's very important. Like really understanding why you're doing what you're doing, how, like, why you want to do this, who it's going to affect, what is so important about that why, how is it affecting other folks around you. But then on top of that, once we understand that, we build anchors that remind us of why we're doing what we are doing as well. So that when you're not maybe talking to me or having that friend, you
Mhm.
can look at this thing. Like, for some people, it's a picture. For some people, it's a dress in their closet that they want to wear again. It's certain
Yeah.
things, you know what I mean, that they look at and they're like, this is why. I had a client, her anchor was her face on Janet Jackson's body, and it was her screensaver. But
Interesting.
it reminded her of why, of what she wanted and why. I mean, and that could be, anything that you want. You never know what's gonna spark that
Right.
thing in the client, but you have to build those things around you. You have to build your own support system around you. So it could be podcasts, it could be people, it could be the artifacts, the anchors that you use, but you have to build that up as well.
Absolutely. And for that listener who's not at that point yet, where they're right now in their own version of the bottle on the nightstand, what's the one thing you want them to walk away from with this conversation?
People to really know your biggest, how can I say this? You will survive what you thought would destroy you. Everyone thinks, I'm never going to get through this. And
Mhm.
here's the most beautiful thing about that. When you get through it, everything that you are going through, you'll be able to help someone else through it as well. It doesn't feel like it at the moment, but you will come out stronger, wiser, and more powerful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Courtney, where can people find you?
You can find me. I'm on Instagram at Coach Court83, or TikTok, Coach Courtney 83, maybe. And
We'll double check.
yeah, I would say either way, if you pull up Coach Court, you're gonna find me, or Coach Courtney with an I. Also, my website, www.imcoachcourt.com.
Awesome. And we will put all that in the show notes. Courtney, is there anything else, any last takeaways that you want to leave with the audience?
Let your breakdown be your breakthrough. I feel like anytime something is happening to you, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And so what I challenge you to do is look at the situation in a way of, what am I supposed to learn in this moment?
So powerful, because every single thing that happens to us has a lesson, a teachable moment
It
within
does.
it. If
It
we
does.
just stop for a second, breathe, and
Mhm.
really look at what is happening around us instead of being in that tizzy.
Yeah, the tizzy. I like that.
Yeah,
Tizzy.
oh my God, I couldn't think of the right word.
I see,
Tizzy.
no, but I know when I think of tizzy, I see it going
It's
like that.
exactly, because I didn't want to say hurricane. It was
Yeah,
like, that whirlwind. It's like,
yeah,
stop, breathe for a second.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, Courtney, it has been a pleasure having you on today. And this concludes another episode of Hot Mess Magic.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.